Hello, for this week's non-dual lectionary, we've got a cool little story, a cool little lesson from Luke for the third Sunday after Pentecost. So we're back in the Jesus story, and let's dig right into it. It's Luke chapter 9, verses 51 to 62. It's actually two little vignettes here. The first, a Samaritan village refuses to receive Jesus. When the days drew near for him to be taken up, he set his face to go to Jerusalem, and he sent messengers ahead of him. On their way, they entered a village of the Samaritans to prepare for his arrival, but they did not receive him because his face was set toward Jerusalem. When his disciples James and John saw this, they said, "Lord, do you want us to command fire to come down from heaven and consume them?" But he turned and rebuked them. Then they went on to another village. And then the second vignette, would-be followers of Jesus. As they were going along the road, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." To another he said, "Follow me." But he said, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." And Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but let me first say farewell to those at home." And Jesus said to him, "No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for the kingdom of God." So two short little stories. I'm actually going to just focus on the second one. And you know, this one I feel like we could talk about for a long time. I'm going to try to keep it short. So first, um, each of these three little interactions, right? Someone says to him, "I'll follow wherever you go. Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." And then, "Follow me." "Oh, but I want to bury my father." And then the last one, "Let me say farewell." Each of these, I think there's there's like an obvious, like right away, a message of something like detachment or non-attachment here. But I actually first want to start with comparing to last week, right? Because we can take like especially if we're in sort of our small self, and we read we can read a lot of religion, we can read anything this way, right? But as like I'm trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to do, right? How do I match up with what's expected? How do I follow the rules in a way? And here we've got something that's kind of like, I see. The rules are I'm supposed to go and proclaim the kingdom of God. I'm supposed to not look back. I'm supposed to, leave home and just focus only on that. Um, and that's also the way I think that our sort of ego self, our small self, takes the word like detachment or non-attachment, right? I'm supposed to not attach myself to things, right? I'm supposed to have not very much and that kind of thing. But think about last week, right? And the Gerasene demoniac. And at the end of that story, after he's been healed by Jesus, he says, "Oh, I want to come with you." And Jesus says, "No, no, 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 no. Stay here. Proclaim tell people about me here." And so first I just want to draw that comparison, right? It's not that like Jesus in every interaction with anybody is saying, "Leave everything behind, follow me." There's that at the initial disciples calling, but not all the time, right? So right there, I think that should give us pause. Wait a minute. Maybe there isn't a rule to follow here. Maybe there's something deeper going on. Of course, there's something deeper. Come on. Come on. But first of all, right, there's like the Jesus is spiritual teacher, right? And this is, I think, something great spiritual teachers do all the time. We've got just these quick little three interactions, but the hints are there already, right? And if we work from the back, this person is saying explicitly, "Hey, I want to come with you, but I just need to do this one thing," right? And Jesus is just like already, "Hey, I'm just going to go right at that," right? There's something in you that's saying, I need to hold on to this one thing. I can't really, I can't live in my true nature, right? I still am tied to my small self in a way. And Jesus goes right at that. No. The person before, same way, right? He says, "Follow me." "Well, I first just want to go and bury my father." No, right? And even the first one, which is a little bit different, but cool in a way, right? I'll follow you wherever you go. No hesitation there, right? But Jesus sees a hesitation. Jesus sees a small self in there, right? Like a self that wants to do it, that wants to do it the right way, and says, like, not yes, not okay, not that's the right thing, but like, hey, and I think there's a way to read the foxes have holes, birds of the air have nests idea here that fits exactly what I'm trying to tease out of it. Uh, hey, if you are looking for a place here, if you're looking for a role, if you're looking for something you can, do right, a way to follow the rules, a way to fit in, that's not what this is about, right? Nowhere to lay his head. And another way of saying that is like, um, this isn't a place to find a self, right? This isn't a place to find a role or a name or a rule to follow, principle to hold on to, right? Like the whole thing in a way is non-attachment. And so each of these three little actions is awesome as like a teaching, right? In three different, subtle, different ways. And then, beyond, and again, like, especially compared to last week, like we're just blowing up the idea of there's like a rule to follow here, which is always what the small self wants to do, right? Because that it can keep itself going that way. And Jesus just continually blows this whole thing up here, right? And so like Jesus as spiritual teacher here is just shining through, and that's I think what we can glean from that too. Um, that Jesus is looking at, he's interacting with this people, but they're all aspects of us too, right? Every time our small self feels like they've got it, oh, I'll follow you, right? Oh, I'm gonna, like who's following me, right? Is it you? Is it the you that thinks you're a you? No, that's not gonna work. And as I said before, though, too, right? Like even the idea of, you know, let the dead bury the dead, right? Or like the message of non-attachment isn't something that the small self can do ultimately, right? Like trying to be unattached or detached, as Alan Watts talks about, right? Is just what you find yourself, if you're honest about it, doing is being attached to being non-attached, detached or non-attached. Um, which doesn't mean it's impossible, though. It means it's impossible for the small self, right? It means it's Jesus ultimately, when he hears these people talking, he hears two things, I think, is what we can point to. One, he hears the person, the small self talking, bringing everything that they're attached to, all their conditioning, and all that's great too, just bringing everything that they bring to the table. And he hears that and says, here's the lesson in there. But here's the lesson like at you, right? Like, hey, you might think you're getting this, right? You might think you're telling me the right thing, but there's something more there that's not quite right. And also at the same time, he's talking to true nature, right? To beyond that self and saying, hey, I see you in there, right? Like there is a real spiritual impulse that is shining through the small self here that he recognizes. And he's just kind of going like, hey, you come with me, right? Because ultimately, not just ultimately, but right, like at the most base level, it's already right there. It already is what is, and Jesus is just calling it forth.